friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Theresa here, and today I'm going to work on a couple of days for December Daily 2022, starting with day 6. And one of the things that I enjoy now that we're a few days into the month of December is I have a good feel about how the album is going, and I have a couple of stories collected over the last few days, and so now I can relax a little bit and batch more of the process and move things around as I need to. And that means that my posting will be a little bit more sporadic, just because I'm going to put days together into the process videos. And so today I'm hoping to get 6, 7, and 8 done. And I have them printed out already. I have the pages planned out and the foundation pages selected that I'm planning to use. So for day 6, I wanted to just share with you a little of what I'm doing, what my story is for the day. And basically I took a photo of myself in the kitchen, just working on some of the decorations and things like that. And so I brought in a very simple photo into my Photoshop canvas, and brought in one of the pattern papers from last year's Ellie Edwards digital 10 by 8 pattern papers, and then printed out a vellum overlay with my journaling like I've been doing throughout this album several times already. I am working on the back of day 5. If you remember, it was the naughty list layout, which is a lot of fun. And so moving into some of the decor pages and stories around that for a few days. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull this together. I don't know what embellishments I'm going to use yet or anything like that, so you'll get to follow along with my thought process for that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trim these down, and notice how on the vellum I left a border so that I would know where to cut it, and that sort of makes that a little bit easier so that it fits just over top of the pattern paper. And one thing I just wanted to say is how basic of a design this page design is. So basic, but it works so well to do just a very vertical division, one photo on one side, pattern paper and or journaling on the other side, and then add embellishments in between, on top, or around. That it's just a very simple page design that can be repeated over and over and over again, and it works every time, especially for very vertical photos like this one. And it puts the emphasis on me, even though that's a little uncomfortable, but that's okay. And I think that this is something that I don't know that I've ever captured before, or very rarely, actually. And so I wanted to commit to including stories about me doing the decorating, me working on the ornaments and the garlands and all of that, because I want that to be part of the stories that I tell. So I'm going to go through my little tray of goodies here and try to find some embellishments that inspire me. And so what I've found is some of these die cuts from the Ellie Edwards physical product. And there were some craft ones that were really beautiful. The tree and those stars kind of inspired me. Also, I'm always drawn to these puffy stickers and chipboard pieces from Paisley Press. Those are just staples in my December daily documenting. But I really liked these stars, and I know that they were available in wood as part of the physical main kit. But I was excited that they were cardstock die cuts here as well. They're white with gold foiling on top. And that might make a really pretty base, home base for the number. And so then I'm thinking about using this garland to sort of cover the seam of the vellum. And all of these things as well, they serve as a cover for the adhesive. And that's the challenge with working with vellum, of course, with vellum and transparent elements, is how do you conceal the adhesive? And this is the perfect way. And I think what I'm going to do is, so there's this blank space here where the kitchen island is. And I'm going to use that as sort of where the number will go. And then have that garland coming up above the 6, but also coming from the bottom and meeting that 6 there in the middle. I just need to find I need to find the perfect 6. And what my challenge was where to position that 6. Because some of the seam was going to show, and of course I was completely overthinking it. But that's okay. It's all part of the process. Also just trying to figure out how big the 6 needed to be in relationship to that garland, and also what color it needed to be. And one thing I had committed to was the little chipboard half circle or puffy sticker half circle at the top that is red. And that's a lovely pop of red. And of course the pattern paper is red behind it. And so I'm selecting, I think what I'm going to do is go with the red 6 and continue that theme of red. Although I did put a little black word strip here across the bottom just to have a second place to adhere this vellum down. And so you can see how I've used the red line tape and made the adhesive points behind those puffy stickers. And that works out really nice, right? Then you have this seamless look. And again, working with, I committed earlier in the month to including more journaling and doing it typed in order to make that easier for myself. And so then doing it on the vellum so that it would be a really pretty element throughout the album. And so that's how that shows up here on this layout, Creating a Home, just to talk about more about the decorating that I do, why I do it, what it reminds me of my mom decorating and all the years that she would pull out our Christmas ornaments and the little decorations and things that we had growing up, and how those are some of my favorite memories. And I hope that our kids will remember that too from our experiences in recent years. So here you can see how I brought that garland up from the bottom as well. That worked out really pretty. That is a gorgeous garland die cut. And then I'm going to punch it and we'll continue on with day 7. So the camera cut out on me. Sorry about that. But one last thing that I did was I took the word joy from this Paisley Press stamp and just added that in a couple of little spots at the bottom, just for a little homemade feel and something a little more relaxed. And of course, just bringing in the feelings that, an expression of the feelings that this layout brings to me and that these memories bring to me. So I'm going to move on to day 7, and let me get some of these things out of the way. And day 7 is, I'm going to I'm going to work with this foundation page with these chipboard circles. I grabbed 2 punches, a 3-inch punch, and I believe this is 1 3/4 for the smaller circles. And I've got a couple of photos printed out. And so what I need to do is trim this out, but the story that I'm using for this day is a new little tree that I put up in our staircase landing. And it's one of those tall, skinny trees. And I brought in some new ornaments for it, and just enjoyed kind of pulling this together, having 2 trees, actually 3 trees all together in the house. You'll learn more about that later on. But 2 trees at this point, and kind of excited about that. And so that's what I'm going to do for day 7. And I'm going to just start rolling for that process. Okay, so I've been excited about working with this foundation page. I love these chipboard circles. And one of my favorite things about foundation pages is making sure that those favorite things get in the album, and that's the whole reason why I like to do foundation pages, because it helps me commit. And so with this little tree here, it's not a little tree, it's taller than me, like it's 6 feet tall or 5.5 feet tall. I don't know. I'm 5 feet even. So it's a little bit taller than me, but it's skinny. And I'm used to doing fat trees. So it was kind of cool to do a skinny tree. And I really loved how it turned out. I used these lighter sort of mint green, teal, light mint colors, and silver ribbon. It turned out really pretty. So I'm going to use this the large chipboard circle that I left unattached. I went ahead and used that for the main tree photo. And this is what I see when I go upstairs. And I love that view. And then I also popped that up a little bit with foam tape so that it would stand up above the other circles. And then I realized that I adhered those smaller chipboard circles. They're stuck down pretty tight. So what I decided to do was to just lay the smaller photos inside those chipboard circles and pop them up as well. So they kind of sit on top of those circles, which is kind of a cool effect and kind of a cool way to still use those. I had anticipated that I was going to put embellishments inside those smaller circles, but it ended up that I just wanted a couple of supporting photos showing some of the pretty ornaments that we had purchased for this new tree. And then one of the circles I am going to use for the number 7. And I'm just using the Felicity Jane 7 from the Ivy kit. So it goes really well with this layout. And then the second large circle I reserved for my journaling. And did you know that you could use pencil drawn lines for your journaling? And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm just using my ruler here to kind of get them somewhat straight and evenly spaced. And then I realized that my tree picture was looking a little bit crooked, so I'm going to fix that. Whoops. Sometimes that happens. And then just write a few words about the tree and how it was new for us and how fun this was. And I am leaving those pencil drawn lines. I'm leaving them right there as they are. I have always talked about how I use lines for my journaling, and I think that's pretty authentic for me. It's a way that I feel more comfortable using my own handwriting. So I'm going to leave it there. And then I also had just a couple of extra words, so I added another line below there. one of the main reasons I used the pencil lines is because I could not get a stamp in there that was different widths. So, because the chipboard is raised. So I'm off to grab, here we go. I grabbed a couple of packs of embellishments and a stamp set, the Ivy stamp set, to add just a few things around these circles. And what I'm doing here is just tying the chipboard circles and the elements on the page, tying it in with the background pattern paper. And I talked about this in one of my October daily layouts about how using a pattern paper background helps warm these smaller 6x8 or 7x8 layouts so beautifully. I love that. And then your stamped elements, your chipboard pieces, your puffy stickers, they pop up against that pattern paper when it's a good choice. And I think that this little light blue was an excellent choice, especially with the tree and the color choices on the tree. All in all, can you tell I really like this page. I'm also really loving working with single page layouts instead of feeling this obligation to do 2-page spreads, to just let there be a 1-page spread. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of a relief. It's also helping the process go a little bit faster, and it's still, the thing is, I'm still keeping the focus on the photo, keeping the focus on the stories, and creating a little bit of space here for some fun elements. There's not really anything interactive on these 2 pages, and I'm totally cool with that. It's okay to have some pages that aren't interactive. I thought what I would do is add a little puffy sticker here around that bottom journaling circle here, and you'll see me later on in day 8. I'll have to go back and secure that with adhesive, but it looks really cute, and just adding a little bit of gold in and around there made me really happy. So these were just some of the little gold snowflakes, some enamel dots, of course. Those little chipboard stars, they're going to show up again in the album with that star page, that star foundation page I did. So lots of fun little elements here. And of course, a little bit of stamping too around these chipboard circles. So I hope you've had a great time watching today. I will be sharing day 6 and day 7, just an edit from my original intent. I was going to try to include day 8 with this, but I think I'll share day 8 tomorrow with you and separate that out just to give myself a little bit more time. But you can see this up on my blog. I'll have the link to that below. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful December. And I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.